Please welcome to the stage Alexandria Lafci, Head of Operations and co-founder at New Story.
Hello, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here today. It's a beautiful audience, and there were some incredible speakers so far, right? And this, round of applause to them. Incredible job to Mashable and to UN for putting this together. Again, I feel honored to be sharing this stage. And my name is Alexandria Lafci. I'm the co-founder of an organization called New Story, and we pioneer safe and affordable housing solutions for the bottom billion. And I got into this work because my mother grew up in foster care, and then right after college, as a Teach for America educator, I saw the impact that housing instability had on far too many of my sixth graders. And then in 2014, it was brought to my attention that tens of thousands of families in Haiti were still living in the same thin tarp tents that they were given immediately after that catastrophic 2010 earthquake that I'm sure you remember. So through those experiences, it became clear to me that housing is so much more than a safe place to lay your head or shelter from a storm. Housing impacts your ability to attain or retain a job. Housing impacts educational outcomes. Housing impacts your mental and physical health. Housing, I have learned, is a prerequisite for a high-quality life, and housing, as I'm sure this room can agree, is a human right. But unfortunately, there are close to 1 billion people on our planet who do not have access to it. And in this room, we're of course here and excited to talk about the vision that we see for our world in 2030. And by 2030, I envision a world where no child is sleeping without a safe roof over their head. That is a possibility in our lifetime. That is a possibility by 2030. So with that in mind, starting in 2014, my incredible team and I started building homes to try to put a dent in this number. We started by just building a few simple homes for the families that we had met in Haiti, and then at a critical mass of homes, you have neighborhoods. And then eventually, we were building entire communities of homes across multiple countries, in partnership, of course, with local leadership using local labor. And we're very proud of what we've done in under 4 years, but last year we reached an inflection point where we asked ourselves, were we satisfied with building 10 or 20% more homes year over year? Or was there a way for us to have exponential impact? Now, the good news is, through a lot of research over these past 4 years and through my experience, I've learned that there's actually a lot of money that goes into social housing. That's exciting. But unfortunately, the institutions responsible for it, government, the construction industry, nonprofits, are notoriously slow to innovate, and those industries are very mired with waste. But if we could just gain a few percentage points of efficiency in those industries, then we could be potentially building tens or hundreds of thousands of more homes, impacting millions of lives with the same budgets. So now, New Story builds technology, and in addition to technology, we develop best practices in order to share and democratize to the entire housing sector. Now, one of those technologies is what I'm here to talk to you about today, and it started with a question that we asked ourselves. Was it possible for us to build homes faster, to build homes less expensively, without sacrificing quality in a world where you can typically only have 2 out of the 3? And after a lot of research and work, what we came to was 3D home printing. Now, when I mention 3D home printing, I usually get a lot of questions and a lot of confused faces. How does this work? Are you printing homes out of plastic? On and on and on. And so I thought that I would bring you along the journey with me and show a quick visual. All right, there we go. It's definitely exciting because 3D home printing is not a thing of science fiction. As you can see, it is here today. And the few companies who are working on it are looking at for-profit applications or even colonizing space, not kidding. But when we as a nonprofit were determining whether it was something that we should invest in for our target population, for our use case, we had a lot of constraints to consider. As if building a robot that spits out houses wasn't hard enough, we had to think about things like, could it work in rugged terrain? Could it work in areas where power was not fully reliable? Could this machine be something that was easy to operate? Could we use local labor and local materials? But when we weighed all of those obstacles with the potential impact that this technology could have for those families that we had met, we knew that it was irresponsible for us not to try. And so because we tried, because we took that risk, when we knew that failure was an option, as you saw, we have now successfully created a machine that can print homes for around $4,000 in under 24 hours, and the best part is that it meets or exceeds disaster resiliency standards. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this is exciting, but what's next? News Story is going to be printing, we are on track to print the first ever 3D printed community in the world. We're doing this in Latin America. We're doing this in early 2019. But like I mentioned earlier, we are not just creating this technology for ourselves. I firmly believe that change is an open source pursuit. So we must not only innovate, we have to collaborate if we are going to see the world, to reach the world that we envision by 2030. Now, I think back to mobile phone technology. It took about a decade before mobile phone technology reached the bottom billion, but we know that when it did, it was trajectory changing. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to wait another 10, another 20 years before technology that is available now is meeting the needs of people who need that technology now. And so News Story is taking on the responsibility to bring emerging construction technology to emerging markets. But what I'd like to leave with you today is to think about the governments that you're working with, think about the issue areas you care about, the communities that you serve, and what innovation can you pioneer, or simply what technology can you fast forward to get us closer to the more equitable world that we envision by 2030, so that the people who need technology the most are served first and not last. Now, I was going to end there, but I have to say my favorite part about these conferences, these conversations, is getting to talk to people afterwards. And unfortunately, I'm going straight from this stage onto a plane So I put my information here, and if you are interested in risk-taking in nonprofits, in technology and its applications for social good, if you are a social change maker, an architect, a material scientist, or just interested in talking to the girl with the funky pants, then please, please reach out to me and let's build a better future together. Thank you so much.